Hi, welcome back to Fly Headcorn here on YouTube. Today we're having a look at things in miniature, and I'm privileged to be with this fantastic recreation of a Mark I Hurricane as flown by 242 Squadron at Biggin Hill and Duxford in the Second World War. The detail on this model is absolutely incredible, right down to the rivets and the letters and the marking. Now this is presented by Maidstone Model Club, who are represented here on the aerodrome. When we're flying helicopters, fixed wings, Spitfires and parachutists, the Model Club can often be seen right on the far side of the aerodrome with their own squadron of aircraft. But to tell you more about Maidstone Model Club, I'd like you to meet the Boxalls.
No, Max, it's Maidstone Model Flying Club, MMFC. And welcome to our home down here at Headcorn Aerodrome. We're in the northern corner of the airfield. We've been based at Headcorn now for over 50 years. 1966 was our established year. Obviously I'm not that old, I'm far too good looking. And we've been here flying models ever since. Technology's changed and the airfield's changed, but we still find ourselves here at Headcorn.
I'm Andrew, club president. This is my son Adam. We're Maidstone Model Flying and we have over 60 members, and I'm going to hand it over to Adam.
Yes, so if we fly all sorts of types of aircraft here, we go from warbirds to foamy jets to foamy trainers, and if you take fancy to anything you've seen in any of the footage, please feel free to contact us and we'd be more than willing to invite you down to have a look round and to have a fly with one of our planes.
So Adam, this controller device you're holding, it looks like the flight deck of the Starship Enterprise.
Well, it does look like that, but don't worry. This is an up-to-date, very professional version. So you don't start here. When you get in the hobby, you start with something a bit more like this.
Right. Oh, I see.
This is a bit more bare bones based. That's your Piper Cub of the transmitter world.
Well, I fancy having a go at this.
Yeah, well, we can certainly hook you up with a go.
Well, what does this do then? If I turn that lever left and right, what's that doing?
Well, what that does is, it depends, there's different modes, but that'll do your aileron.
Aileron, right.
Left, down, up. That's your throttle.
Okay.
That's your rudder.
Right, so you've got to get quite dexterous on these to...
Hand-eye coordination is very important.
And this, I assume, is the aerial that the aeroplane receives.
2.4 gigahertz.
2.4 gigahertz?
Gigahertz.
2.4 gigahertz.
Not 88 miles an hour in gigawatts or anything, but
right.
2.4 gig.
It's very fangled, all this. And what about this one here? What's the difference? I see you've got a screen there.
Well, this one is one I've ended up picking up. I've been in the hobby for a long time, and as you get into the hobby, the models get more and more complicated. You end up putting more and more gizmos and bits and bobs on the plane. So you end up needing more functions and more bits and bobs you don't really need as well.
Right.
So on this, I can do whatever I want to program setting up flying a plane to playing snakes and ladders and having a game of chess or listening to the radio if I get bored.
Good Lord. Now what I'd like you to do for me, Adam, is show me how this controller works with your magnificent Mark I Hurricane, which is parked up over there.
Absolutely not a problem. Shall we go and have a look?
Let's do it.
Cool.
Now Adam, you talked about controlling the ailerons on this aeroplane. Not all our viewers know what the ailerons are. I wonder if you could demonstrate.
Well, when I refer to one of the ailerons, I'm referring to one of the control surfaces, which make the aeroplane do the manoeuvres much as the full size. So when I say the ailerons, I wiggle the aileron stick and the ailerons will come up. That is my aileron control surface.
Right, now what is this aeroplane? This is not a Merlin engine in here, is it?
No.
What is it? What sort of engine is it?
This engine is much like you'd find in your chainsaw or your strimmer at home.
Okay.
So it's a 2-stroke petrol engine, and this is a derivative of one of those engines, just modified slightly to suit our needs, really.
Now my chainsaw at home will run for about 40 minutes before it needs fuel. How long will this run for?
Not quite as long. My duration's more like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but
Have you ever been flying this aeroplane and run out of fuel?
Thankfully not.
Okay.
That's why we have timers.
Ah, that's interesting. There's a timer on there. Okay, to prevent that. Now, what is this aeroplane principally made of?
This aeroplane is what we would call very much a traditional construction. So it is a balsa and plywood and glass cloth manufactured. The ribs, much like the construction of a full size.
Yeah.
We have ribs, we have sheeting, and it's all covered with glass cloth. And the rear fuselage and tail surfaces are much the same as the full size.
Right.
They are fabric covered, which made the Hurricane very suitable for combat.
Of course.
Very quick repairs to be made in the field on the fly to get them back out to service as quick as possible. So we very much follow the same principles as a full size.
Now, could you, because I'm just a big kid at heart really, could you put some guns in it and make it fire?
That wouldn't be legal, I'm afraid, Max.
Ah, you see,
No,
it's always a catch.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Adam, for that insight into this wonderful Mark 1 Hurricane. What I'd like to do now is chat to one of your members.
I'm sure there's one around you can collar for a chat.
Lovely. Yeah, he'll do. Hello, Chris. Lovely to see you.
Hello,
I
Max.
enjoyed your display just then.
Thank you very much.
What attracted you to flying model aircraft like this?
Well, I started off, as I'm sure a lot of people do, with Airfix. Built my first Spitfire when I was 10, made a complete hash of it, but I was bitten by the bug.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've wanted to, I've made loads of plastic models, and always wondered, you know what, having models on your shelf looks great, but surely you can take it further. And this was the way I got it.
Fantastic. Now, we've got something in common here because I was chief test pilot for Airfix for many years.
I thought I was, but clearly not.
I beat you to it.
You did.
So tell our viewers on Fly Headcorn what it's like to operate model aircraft in one of the busiest flying environments in southeast England.
Yeah, well, we have to fit in, and we're super safety conscious. We have radio contact with air traffic, and we can hear all the movements that are going on. We know when the skydivers are dropping, when the wing walker is lining up on the runway for takeoff, and indeed when the Spitfires and Harvards and sundry aerobats are coming into this overhead airspace here to work their wonders. Obviously that means there are enforced pauses in our flying.
Of course.
We sit around, there's a lot of club banter and cups of tea are made. But one of the great advantages of being part of all this, it may interfere with our model flying, but we are often, we witness the most fantastic aerial displays. We have a grandstand seat
Of course.
to some of the best flying you're going to see.
What a
anywhere.
wonderful privilege. Now, I also know through the grapevine you're a licensed pilot yourself.
Yes.
What's the difference for our viewers between flying this and the real thing? In a nutshell.
Well, the difference is you're not sitting here,
Yes.
and consequently handling this aircraft, particularly on approach and landing, is an art unto itself. Not least because if the aircraft is coming towards you, left and right are reversed.
Are in reverse, absolutely.
And so once you've got your head around that, it's actually, of course, fantastic and great fun. And in fact, this particular aircraft, a lot of model aircraft don't really perform like full-sized aircraft. It's power to weight ratios and all that physics stuff, which is beyond me. But this particular aircraft, and I don't know why, actually performs remarkably like a full-size aircraft. So, for example, I can practice with this wing-down landings,
Right.
which I don't know if all the viewers will necessarily know, but if you're landing in a crosswind, you have to do things to keep your nose on track with the runway.
Of course.
And one of those things is to put the wing down opposite rudder.
That's it.
Model aircraft don't necessarily behave properly when you do that. This one does. So I can practice
Yeah. For when you get into
for when
the
I
real
get
thing.
into the full size.
Now, Chris, I'm absolutely sold. How can I join Maidstone Model Flying Club?
Well, Max, contact us on our website and then we'll process your application. We do provide instruction for complete beginners.
Great.
However, it's not easy to model fly. I don't want you to run away with the idea that you can just turn up and do it.
Of course.
It takes a lot of commitment. There are a lot of rules and regulations. There's quite a lot of legal obligations connected with model flying. However, once you get past all of that, it's great fun. We've got people here of all ages. I mean, from 10, 12-year-olds up to 80 plus. We're a relaxed, friendly bunch, and as I say, we're part of something very special here at the airfield, and we're profoundly grateful for the opportunity to fly here. And we've been doing it, of course, for over 50 years here. So we have a long relationship with the airfield, and we want that to continue, forever.
Thank you. Well, there we are, from relaxed and friendly Chris, Maidstone Model Flying Club, one of the star members. Thanks, Chris. Well, it's a huge thank you to Maidstone Model Flying Club with Andrew and Adam for making us so welcome here on the Fly Headcorn channel. So don't forget to click and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.